I'm collecting KTM friends to ride with. Even though I don't have my KTM yet. We're going to check out Leo's KTM 690 Enduro, right?
Enduro R. Hey guys, this is my 2020 KTM 690 Enduro R. But yeah, so I picked this up a couple months ago. It was a bone stock 2020 690 Enduro R. And I can't leave well enough alone. So I was coming to this bike from a KLR 650 Gen 2, and I kind of settled on this 690 as the natural progression for the kind of riding that I do.
Yeah, so you're coming from a KLR 650.
Yeah. So this has, twice the horsepower, much better suspension, about 100 pounds lighter, and everything as well.
Yeah, what's the weight? It's like 250
so the weight
or
on this one, it's about 320.
320.
It's right about 320 stock, and that's before you start adding things and taking things off.
All right, so the rally tower.
Yeah.
This thing's pretty awesome. I think they look badass.
It's really awesome. Really good wind protection too. I was really surprised by how low it is as to how much wind it actually does kick up and around you. Makes a really nice bubble.
So which one is this?
So this is Nomad-Adv. These guys are based out of Belgium, I think, somewhere up there in Northern Europe.
Now these things get pricey.
They are pretty expensive. I know you looked at one for your bike, and
yeah, they're pretty pricey. And I don't know what you can see. He's got a whole dashboard and a couple outlets.
Yeah, so a couple of things that I did. I took the stock USB port and I cut the metal here and I mounted the stock USB there. My ABS switch is up here.
Yeah.
To turn that on and off. I did put a dual USB and a voltmeter down on the bottom down here so that I can check voltage and also charge things at a campsite or just to check the electrical system out.
Yeah.
So that's all set and done right
there. You
there.
got a RAM mount on there with your phone mount.
RAM mount with the phone mount still shakes quite a bit. And then one other thing that I thought was important that I threw up here was this switch right here. And basically, this is just your headlight kill switch. So I just basically did a ground lift on the headlight. So as of right now, if the ignition's on and you're rolling up to a campsite, or if you're just out in the trails and you don't need your light, you're not burning up the lights. And if you want to turn your lights on, you turn them on. So
lots of light, it looks like. Pretty cool.
Lots of light.
So what's this?
Designs.
The Nomad-Adv?
Nomad-Adv, and this is
Rally
the Rally Tower. Yep.
Pretty cool. And I like how they got just to help push more wind away from
it really does a good job. It looked really funny without stickers. They have a sticker kit, but it just does more KTM logo on it, and I was okay with not doing any more KTM logos.
I was gonna say, you sponsored by all these guys, or you just
no? This is my
clout?
band. These guys, these are just some decent vendors that actually.
That's your band right there.
Yeah,
what is it?
That's it. Revolta.
That's your band right there.
That's my band. Did do the ABS protector in the front. It's a little aluminum one. That's from Vanash.
What tires you run? TKC 80s?
These are the stock TKC 80s, and I'm okay with them. I will eventually go to the Motaz Tractionator Enduro, probably the desert, the hard terrain, just for a little bit more grip. I did put the super heavy duty tubes, the 4mm tubes in, and I have a rim lock in the back.
There's the bead-lock.
They're a 50-50 tire for sure. They're pretty good on some of this loose stuff, but in all honesty, once you start getting above 50-60 miles an hour, you can tell the tire starts to hunt for traction again. So these are the stock levers on both sides. I heated them up, bent them, cut them, repolished and reground them, so now they're 2-finger, 1-finger levers. They don't get in the way. Really kind of streamlined.
Yeah, and they're awesome.
Yeah.
I want you to do that to mine.
I absolutely love them. Just such a nice fit and feel.
It looks good.
I did.
You actually bent them. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, I had to bend them that way, otherwise your fingers
There's
will
a little
slip
bend
off
on the end there. You did a nice job on them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send mine over if I ever get it back.
That's cool. We'll do it.
And your
yeah, that was some bling,
some more.
Yeah.
I see you got the double mirrors.
Takes. I mean, these are fantastic. I had them on a few bikes now in the past, and you just can't destroy them. They take a beating. I don't even fold them down on the trails. I just let them get hit and bashed around and everything. And when I'm done, I just kind of push them back to where they need to be.
They're the #1 option, aren't they? It's like what everybody's running.
Absolutely. And also when you're standing, it's really nice. You kick this up, and as you're standing, I have a mirror to look behind me.
Yeah,
if I'm in a group, I can
adjust them when you want it, right?
See where everybody's coming. Yeah.
New grips.
Yeah, the new grips. These are the 714s. They're kind of like the rally grips. So they're a little bit wider, nice and soft and cushy. A lot of people knock the Tusk handguards, but I really like the Tusk because I had these on a previous bike before. These are really the only ones that had this mega wraparound shield. And I've been coming through brush and sticks and trees and everything else, and just this extra coverage from this outer shield really keeps things off the hands.
All right, what's next? The
All right.
seat?
Next, yeah, I did get the Seat Concepts Comfort seat. This is just their regular Comfort, not the Comfort XL or the Tall. And it's a dream. It really is fantastic. I thought I was going to live with the stock KTM one, but it was the same profile all the way front to back. So moving forward, moving back, it didn't alleviate any of the pressure points, even though it was a nice quality seat. This is like sitting on a pillow. So it really is fantastic.
It's pretty awesome. I wanted a Seat Concept, but it's like 6 weeks wait.
I got really lucky to not have to wait for this because this is huge. The only other thing I did up here is I put these bar risers that move it up and forward, just to kind of open up the cockpit a little bit.
Yeah, I say those are pretty tall. It looks pretty tall.
Yeah, so those are pretty tall. I'm 6 foot tall. I do a lot of standing, even even while I'm in the attack pose and everything. It just really kind of helps open up the bike and kind of keep me comfortable.
It opens up your stance too.
Opens up the stance quite a bit.
I was gonna say.
Yeah. So moving back, I did this is the Pier Run tail rack that comes for the 690, and I put that on there. It basically mounts onto the fuel tank. This is all the subframes, the fuel tank back here. So I put that on here, but then once I did that, I kind of lost a good place to handle the bike. So I got the Kriega tail strap so that I can move the bike around real easily. It's just real easy to pick the bike back up or move it around in the garage. Yeah, this is my tire bag. So in here I have a tube, a pump, 3 tire levers, and some soap if I need to set a bead or check for leaks or something like that. So this is basically just my tire kit here. So it's nice and light, and that's why it's on the back and far out. I keep my tools and everything under the seat, so I'll show you what's under there. So one of the other things that I did is modify the intake. So this has the Rottweiler intake system. So normally I had a big plastic plenum here and little small intake, but this is all a big foam filter now, and this is a filter skins that's on it. What that enabled me to do is get a nice tool bag up here. So I have a lot of heavier hand tools and extra filter skins and everything up in this little zipper bag, along with the tools that are behind this piece of plastic right here. So heavy tools are all up here, nice forward and center, light stuff's in the back, and a lot of breathing for the bike.
So this is pretty cool. Like, you got some decent space here under your seat and plastics to hide some tools.
Yeah, it's almost about a gallon size in volume up there.
That's pretty cool.
So yeah, pretty good size up there to really put that away.
What do you got? Bars here?
Yeah, so moving from the KLR, it was one of those bikes that was heavy. It didn't really have the power to get out of its own way, and I was dropping it a lot, so I really had a lot of protection on that bike. Moving into this bike, I still wanted something, but I wanted to keep it a little bit more simple, a little more light. Yeah. So this is basically, this is by Outback Motor Tech, and it's great minimalistic design to protect the radiator. And as you can see, these are my first little scrapes on it from doing these little burnouts right here in the dirt. But it's great minimalistic protection, doesn't really get caught up in stuff. It does cross in the front as well, so it gives good protection there. Yeah, so goes all the way across over to the other side. Right below it, I did just a little bit of rock protection on the header pipe. Just, nothing like a rock hitting hot stainless to give it a dent. So I just wanted a little bit of protection on the header pipe there.
Sure.
And then just below that, I have the...
looks plastic.
This amazing, yeah. So what this is, it is HDMV polyethylene. So it's a better tensile strength than steel. It slides on rocks and wood and everything else. It is a little bit flexible, but one of the things that I like about it is riding, especially if I'm not dropping the bike a lot and I'm just riding, all the rocks kicking up that I would normally hear, the clank, 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 you don't hear all the rocks hitting all the time. And if a rock does hit, it's hitting something hard, and you should probably check it out. So
I think plastic's a good option, for lightweight, and you're not slamming everything.
And the good thing is too, if you can get this from here, it goes all the way back, one piece, all the way back behind the shock linkage, protects the brake on the other side. So it's just a really amazing, sturdy, strong piece.
And it's more affordable too, yeah?
It's about the same price as the aluminum ones.
Really?
So it just really is what you want. All right, so also down in this area, you'll see I have the Vanash chain guard. This is really nice because it actually does have a large kicker. So if the chain does pop off, or in the unlikely event if your KTM chain guide comes off, tries to slam into your engine, as you might know about that a little bit. Kind of helps keep everything in place, and it's a really nice piece. Nice open venting too, so you can really clean everything out. Mud will come out, grease will come out, really easy to clean. And then right above here is the Achilles of the 690. That's the clutch slave cylinder, so that's the one that KTM has had issues with for years. This one has the Oberon update on it.
Nice.
And yeah, so unfortunately at 130 miles, my clutch slave did give out. I rode home without a clutch and had to order that guy while I waited for KTM to send me a warranty replacement.
Lucky.
So that was fun. As far as the pegs, these are just the KTM rally pegs, so they're just longer, bigger footprint.
So that's, you bought that extra, or that's
Yeah,
what
so
comes on the
this is
Enduro?
extra. Yeah, otherwise it comes with the one
Still
that's
KTM power.
yeah,
part.
still KTM power parts. Otherwise it's normally about like an inch and a half shorter.
Gotcha.
Much smaller footprint there. And then last thing on this side is this bad boy right here, the Leo Vinci exhaust. Shedding weight, really protects a lot of heat from getting built up in the gas tank underneath, and also kind of keeps your luggage nice and cool, because I'll be putting the Reckless 80 from Moscow Moto onto this as well. So it's actually a prerequisite for them to have an aftermarket exhaust so that your bag doesn't melt onto your bike and your bike doesn't melt onto your exhaust.
Yeah, for the 690 and with the 701.
Yep.
All right, so yeah, so talk about the stock exhaust on this. The stock exhaust comes with the CAD in it, right?
It comes with a CAD in it, yeah. So on a lot of the other bikes, you'll see a CAD underneath the shock or something else too. Yeah, so this one had this megalithic canister about this big,
Right.
And it came in and went straight into the catalyst material, then went into a big open chamber, then went through a small little, about 1.25 inch hole into a forward chamber, and then a long hot dog pipe all the way to the back.
Yeah.
So super restrictive with the CAD up in the very front too. It was super hot, and honestly the bike just felt so corked up. I understand why they did it, but
Yeah.
that's one of the first things that needs to really go to get any good performance out of the bike.
Basically, switching it out, you got rid of your cat, you opened it up, it's a lot cooler.
Oh yeah.
Sounds better, probably.
It sounds a lot better. Now it breathes great, sounds great. It's got a good growl to it. So really love the Vinci. And I do have the spark arrestor inside just for, you know, all of our Fuego considerations out here, out in the desert and out in the woods.
Yeah, it's definitely louder. It's
Yeah.
definitely louder. It's got a little burble to it on there.
Burble. And that's one of the other things I did as well. I did upgrade the subframe or the tank bolts with heavier duty bolts and bushings, because a lot of times with the weight on this, people said that there had been some failures in the past. So this does have the tank upgrade, the bolt upgrade. So there's ABS sensors back here,
Yeah.
and this is from Nomad-Adv as well. This is this black plastic or ABS cover for the actual speed sensor.
Cover your ABS sensor.
Yep. And moving down this side, some of the other things that you'll see that kind of went hand in hand with the Rottweiler intake system is we have the secondary air system delete. So this is what would normally take air from the intake, put it into the exhaust to help burn unburnt fuel in the actual exhaust system. But since we have an aftermarket exhaust with no cat, that's gone, which removed the canister, which was here, which removed the secondary air valve, which was down here. So all in all, it was about 2 pounds that came off the bike.
So you lost 2 pounds.
Yeah, I lost 2 pounds by
Nice.
doing that. So kind of made up for some of the other stuff that got put back on. The other thing that I did was a fuel dongle. So from Rottweiler, it basically removes the O2 sensor, and you put a dongle into the thing, and then I just plug that off. The issue is when I did this, I did it all at once. I did the intake, I did the SAS, I did the fuel dongle, all at the same time. So when I jumped back on the bike, it was day and night difference.
Yeah.
But I don't know which component it was that really made the
you.
biggest difference.
Right.
Yeah, one thing still with the intake or the injection system is eventually I'll get a power commander for it. This bike...
And what is a power commander? That's like a tune, right?
Yeah, so power commander is going to be basically running more custom tunes. And Rottweiler kind of knows if you have this bike, if you have this intake, if you have the SAS delete, if you have this exhaust, they're able to say, okay, this is the maps that you're going to need for different tunes. I do have a selection, as most of these do, for 2 different maps at any time. I can just click between 1 and 2. This is also where you turn on the traction control. Turn that off. 1 is
That's all
mostly for
aftermarket,
street. This is factory here.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, this is factory.
Nice.
So 1 is street, 2 technically or typically is for off-road.
Nice.
And then you can turn the traction control on or off for both.
Pretty cool, man. You got it all decked out.
Yep.
Well, so let me ask, like, what's the service on this thing?
It's still a performance single cylinder, but one of the reasons I went with this bike as opposed to the 500 EXC or the Husqvarna 501 was basically, it had more power, it was a little bit more ergonomically comfortable, but the service intervals are huge. After its initial 600 mile service, the next service is every 6,000, 6,200 miles.
That's every 6,000. That's not bad.
Every 6,000 miles for a bike that can rip in the desert like this.
And I don't know the number. Do you know the numbers on it, like the horsepower and the torque?
So stock, while it was all corked up,
Yeah.
is 74 horse.
And then, like, what's the... It's geared lower, right? It's more of a dirt bike, right? So it's geared lower. So, like, what would it do on the highway? It'll do 75 on the highway,
Oh,
right?
yeah. It'll cruise between 70 to 80 easy on the highway. Yeah. So, I mean, it'll easily hit 100. 80 to 90 on the dirt is fine with it as well. Now that it's breathing so much better, it doesn't sound like the engine's really winding and looking for that power. It just goes. Yeah.
Right.
It's a 6-gear. It's a close ratio gearbox. So it's not really like adventure bike gearing where you can kind of just cruise on the highway all day.
Right.
But 75 to 80 is really comfortable.
And this weighs less than your
Yeah.
KLR, right?
So I'm thinking with everything I put on and things that I took off, we're probably sitting right around, with full fuel and everything, probably about 330 to 335.
What was the KLR?
The KLR was right around like 418 to 425 just with fuel.
Like wet, yeah.
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 You know, so just it's really confidence inspiring. The way the performance of this, the way the suspension works on this new 2020 is really awesome.
And this is Explorer.
Yeah, so this is the
WP
WP
Explorer.
Explorer. So fully adjustable compression, rebound,
Yeah.
and then the same thing for the rear. One thing that I do have coming for this still, I do have some Motion Pro fork bleeders coming, so that before every ride I can just equalize the air pressure on the forks.
Yeah. But it's good stuff. I like having a fully adjustable, like you can trim it out for yourself and what you're doing. And
one thing I wish this had was an easier to adjust rear shock for the preload.
yeah.
Right now to adjust the preload, you basically have to drop the shock out of the back. And there is a remote adjustable preload little collar that you could put in there. And so maybe I'll eventually do that, but...
Well, cool. Awesome bike.
Thanks, can't wait till you get one.
Yeah.
Back.
Can't wait till we KTM it together, but...
That's right, it's been too long.
But thanks for sharing all the cool stuff he's got on here. What's your Instagram?
My Instagram is Tengu Moto. So it's this right here.
Tengu.
Tengu_Moto.
But what does Tengu stand for? What does that mean?
So Tengu is actually it's a Japanese character from folklore. It's kind of like this ugly monster looking thing with a big nose, but it actually is the protector of the mountains and the forests. And so I kind of saw that these bikes all kind of look like that because it's got these big old ugly fenders on there. So so Tengu, the protector of the mountains and the forest, and
Right.
keeps an eye on me too.
Cool.